Greetings, everybody.
Greetings,
Michele
everybody.
Bacarella here.
Michele Bacarella here.
For my leadership interview, I chose to interview my mother, Debbie Bacarella. Not only is she a real estate broker, but she has 25 plus years of experience within her field. She's owned multiples of her own offices. She's run offices for larger corporate companies such as Remax, Keller Williams, Bristol, just large real estate firms have entrusted her to run their offices for them. In addition to that, she is an author. She's also a mentor and a coach. So when she has new employees come, she's able to mentor and coach them, which we'll get into later in the interview. But she's also sat on the board of the 12th largest women's organization for realtors in the country as the chapter president, district vice president, and the state governor on multiple occasions. So not only was it convenient because she is my mother, but she does have such a wide range of experience as a leader, and that's part of my mother that I've never really gotten to know. So I was very excited to get to know her on a professional level, not just the personal level, of course. So yes, we're going to go into that. See how her leadership experiences and her follower experiences have shaped her leadership style that we see today, and that we'll see in this interview as well. So right off the bat within my interview with Debbie, we began to talk about natural born leaders versus those who are able to learn those leadership traits as they weave through their career, their job experiences, and what have you. Debbie showed her belief system right away by thinking that those who have natural born leadership tendencies, qualities, and traits are beneficial in the workforce, but that having learned experiences are more important to her. So as we began to talk about these things, immediately my mind went to the skills approach from chapter 3 in our textbook. Because Debbie believing that learned skills are more important than having natural innate leadership qualities. These skills model as it showed in the text. Many people have potential for leadership, but people are capable of learning so much more through experiences that can build them to be better leaders, rather than having them just be born with specific traits that model a potential leader. One of the quotes that I pulled from the interview was Debbie felt that something that was important through her leadership time at any of her organizations was laying out pathways of leadership for those employees who fostered the potential to grow into an efficient leader. And she felt that she was somebody who was able to acknowledge that, help those individuals grow, but that the key to all of this in any type of leadership environment is learning. And that learning is more important than those natural born skills. You have to want to learn. You have to want to grow. You have to want to be an efficient, effective, and strong leader for your team, regardless of what personality characteristics you might be born with. So as we just spoke about the skills model and Debbie's personal belief that learned experiences can be more valuable than born with or innate leadership skills and personality traits. I had to analyze that. Because there has to be a reason as to why somebody would find those beliefs in them. This came down to a personal analysis of knowing Debbie's background. So I've explained that below. That goes into her school experiences, her personal life experiences. Just a brief overview, an analysis of why I think or believe that Debbie has chosen that learned experiences are more valuable in her eyes. The task is to ask. This is another quote that Debbie provided me with during our interview. And we were talking about leadership and her leadership style and how she believes that she is an inclusive leader. She wants to have consensus with the team. She wants to hear their feedback about little decisions, big decisions, anything that's going to involve them. She wants to hear feedback from them, some of their ideas that they want to present to the table to better the organization or the project, basically to help meet the goal of the organization. As we discussed this, my mind immediately went to social judgment skills from our text. She mentioned how she prefers to consult with the team. She wants them to be involved with decisions, especially when they're going to involve the team. And then maybe think about the text again. When we talk about social judgment skills, people who possess those traits enable people to solve problems, which helps them become more efficient workers on their own, which then leads to them honing and growing their own leadership skills, which brings us all the way back to the beginning about Debbie talking about those learned experiences, empowering people to make decisions on their own, empowering them to use their voice, empowering them to grow the leaders that everybody's capable of becoming through her leadership style. By Debbie involving her team members in decision-making process, it just shows even more that she believes she is an inclusive leader. And that seems to be true. She's allowing the team in on the decision-making process. She's giving them the opportunity to be included. Giving everyone the opportunity to learn that the environment that they are working in is inclusive. It fosters growth. It fosters idea making. She mentioned this numerous times throughout the interview. How she loves to consult her team members or followers, as we love to refer to them, because she wants to share ideas and opinions. But by allowing others to participate in any type of decision-making process, brainstorming ideas, anything like that. Debbie further shows, as she stated earlier, that she is a servant leader. She wants to have the team. She wants to be with the team. She wants to help pull them towards the goal to accomplish their task. She's not somebody who wants to sit in the back and push her team and push them to the breaking point in order to accomplish goals and tasks set forth by the organization. That's not something that she wants to do, and that doesn't seem like an authentic way for Debbie to lead a team. Debbie is very personable, and she's somebody who wants to be right there with her team in the trenches, working together. So when Debbie mentioned servant leadership, it really resonated with me. Because it reflects her personality so much, and it does reflect her leadership style so much so that the theme is presented throughout the entire interview, and we are going to see it repeat itself quite a bit in this PowerPoint presentation. But everything that Debbie does is filled with empathy and emotional intelligence and keeping her team in mind throughout everything, not just accomplishing her goals, but making sure that everybody else is accomplishing their goals while still finding the work environment conducive to work in. By allowing the employees to be so involved, processes that go on within her organization. Debbie proves that she is approachable. She's concerned about individuals' well-being. She wants them to be happy. She wants them to like their job, love their job. To find solace in her. She wants to be the person they're able to open up to and speak to. Because this tends not only to the team member at work, but the team member at home. Their human needs are important to her. And by proving that and showing that to her employees, this fosters such a relationship and it garners respect from employees that they are almost inclined to be more upfront with Debbie when something is going on. And not necessarily to use it as an excuse as to why goals aren't being met. To give her a heads up. This is going on in my life. I might need some extra help. So that the goal is met on time. So we do meet deadlines. Which really gives a lovely idea of what kind of work environment many businesses could be overall. But this is just a perfect example of the supportive leadership from the path goal theory. Because it shows that Debbie has empathy. Addressing each individual person rather than just addressing an employee is a major way to build a wonderful leader-follower relationship. And then pushing the needle forward to accomplish goals becomes easier because everybody has an open and honest way of communicating with each other. I did find this wonderful example of a video by Simon Sinek, which you're going to see in the next slide. It goes ahead and you're going to note that there are specific time increments what I'm going to ask you to watch that have to do with empathy in the workplace. But the entire video is wonderful. So if you do have time to watch it, I highly suggest you do so. But if not, you can always just take a look at the marked times and go ahead and watch those and see how this ties into that.
Responsible for the people who are responsible for the customer. I'll tell you a true story. A few months ago, I stayed at the Four Seasons in Las Vegas. It is a wonderful hotel. And the reason it's a wonderful hotel is not because of the fancy beds. Any hotel can go and buy a fancy bed. The reason it's a wonderful hotel is because of the people who work there. If you walk past somebody at the Four Seasons and they say hello to you, you get the feeling that they actually wanted to say hello to you. It's not that somebody told them that you have to say hello to all the customers, say hello to all the guests, right? You actually feel that they care. Now, in their lobby, they have a coffee stand. And one afternoon, I went to buy a cup of coffee, and there was a barista by the name of Noah who was serving me. Noah was fantastic. He was friendly and fun. And he was engaging with me, and I had so much fun buying a cup of coffee, I actually think I gave 100% tip, right? He was wonderful. So as is my nature, I asked Noah, do you like your job? And without skipping a beat, Noah says, I love my job. And so I followed up, I said, what is it that the Four Seasons is doing that would make you say to me, I love my job? And without skipping a beat, Noah said, throughout the day, managers will walk past me and ask me how I'm doing, if there's anything that I need to do my job better. He said, not just my manager, any manager. And then he said something magical. He says, I also work at Caesar's Palace. And at Caesar's Palace, the managers are trying to make sure we're doing everything right. They catch us when we do things wrong. He says, when I go to work there, I like to keep my head under the radar and just get through the day so I can get my paycheck. He says, here at the Four Seasons, I feel I can be myself. Same person, entirely different experience from the customer who will engage with Noah. So we in leadership are always criticizing the people. We're always saying, we gotta get the right people on the bus. I've gotta fill my team. I gotta get the right people. But the reality is, it's not the people, it's the leadership. If we create the right environment, we will get people like Noah at the Four Seasons. If we create the wrong environment, we will get people like Noah at Caesar's Palace. It's not the people. And yet we're so quick to hire and fire. You can't hire and fire your children. If your kids are struggling, we don't say, you got a C at school, you're up for adoption. So why is it that when somebody has performance problems at work, why is it that our instinct is to say, you're out? We do not practice empathy. What does empathy look like? Here's the lack of empathy. This is normal in our business world. You walk into someone's office, someone walks into our office and says, your numbers have been down for the third quarter in a row. You have to pick up your numbers, otherwise I can't guarantee what the future will look like. How inspired do you think that person is to come to work the next day? Here's what empathy looks like. You walk into someone's office, someone walks into your office and says, your numbers are down for the 3rd quarter in a row. Are you okay? I'm worried about you. What's going on? We all have performance issues. Maybe someone's kid is sick. Maybe they're having problems in their marriage. Maybe one of their parents is dying. We don't know what's going on in their lives. And of course it will affect performance at work. Empathy is being concerned about the human being, not just their output. We have, for some reason, our work world has changed over the past 20 and 30 years. We are suffering the side effects of business theories left over from the 80s and 90s. And they are bad for people, and they are bad for business. Let me give you an example. The concept of shareholder supremacy was a theory proposed
As me and Debbie began to talk about communication some more, and communicating with her team, she attributed many of the attributes that she learned, and the ways that she likes to communicate to her past career experiences. So once again, this brought me right back to the skills model, and thinking about how career experiences can shape a leader. She brought up some negative situations from her past that helped to shape her as leader she is today. But just how the communication was poor, the messages being relayed within this poor communication were also negative, which brought a negative tone to the team. Luckily, Debbie was able to take this negative experience. She was able to turn it into something positive and learn from it, so that she got to be a more effective leader than what she may have experienced in the past. Throughout the interview, it becomes very clear that Debbie is socially conscious of the way that her team members feel in the office and how she portrays herself to those team members as well. With her social awareness, comes social perceptiveness, deciding not only what is important to her employees as team members, but also as people. Debbie talked about asking what their big why is. Why are they working here? Why do they want to do this job? Why do they want to do this job? What motivates them in the morning? She wants to know their purpose behind why they're involved with her team. That can help to motivate them, which should then push them to accomplish goals set forth by herself or by themselves. Knowing their big why is a wonderful motivator that she's used in the past and still to this day. Along with that social perceptiveness, Debbie talks about her emotional intelligence and using empathy with her team members to connect with them. Debbie believes that emotional intelligence and empathy are more important. They're bigger than technical skills. Because technical skills, to a degree, are easier to learn. You can learn how to do a skill. But teaching somebody becomes a much bigger task. And Debbie feels that having that innate social awareness, emotional intelligence will get you farther as you can learn those technical skills throughout time. There be career experiences, learned experiences, work experiences. Experience is what matters here to Debbie. It shows that she was shaped by her experiences from when she was a young girl, graduated high school, to where she is now in her career being a very well-known real estate agent, full of knowledge that people seek out to either run their offices, help them in business, get advice from them, coach and mentor their new employees. Her experience has gotten her to where she is today. She might not have had the technical skills when she began, but she was able to learn those and acquire them little by little as she went on the road to her career and eventually became very successful at it. Her learned experiences, career experiences gave her insight on what to do with her employees on things that worked, and also on what not to do by having those negative experiences that she still keeps in the back of her mind on leaders that she found ineffective in the office, not just to herself, but to the team that she was working with at that time as a follower or a subordinate. Experience is what matters to
Experience
Debbie.
is what matters to Debbie. Experience is what has gotten her to where she is today.
Experience is something that's mentioned in the skills model.
That
Having that leadership
learned through experience
make or break a leader.
Make or break a leader.
Large
with the team,
or small.
Large or small.
When asked about favoritism in the workplace, you could see it in Debbie's face immediately. That she went right back to a negative experience from her past. Of course, there's favoritism in most offices, but in this particular situation for Debbie, she found herself watching her leader, seen as in a situation she was a follower or a subordinate, watching her leader use people within the office
who they considered favorites for personal gain. So not only was it not work related, this was all for outside of work for personal reasons.
And she found herself on the
outgroup of this situation, getting reprimanded
for things that
were
at fault of an entire group. Debbie was not within that in-group context,
so she was the one who ended up getting disciplined,
getting accusations made
of her,
even though the entire group was
responsible. Debbie was the one who was found guilty due to her being on the outside of the in-group within that particular context in that situation.
Choosing to interview my mother was not something that I went into lightly.
Of course, it was convenient for me because a mother will always make time for her children.
But getting to know my mother on a professional level was something that I had not yet done.
I known about her career.
To a degree, I knew she was a real estate agent. I knew she was a broker. I knew she had years of experience.
But getting to hear about her positive and negative experiences as a leader and with leaders throughout her time has really given me more respect for her as a career professional.
She has a perceptive way about her on how to deal with
employees and subordinates that shows that she is truly a caring person who cares about all of the people in her office because she wants nothing but the best for them. In addition,
the best for them is them
achieving their goals in their career, to have a better life, inside and outside of work.
Now, given we did speak a lot about communication and empathy and emotional intelligence involving employees so that they felt heard, I am curious to see how Debbie would react with somebody who pushed back, who took advantage of her niceness, who needed to be disciplined strongly.
Now, I'm not saying that Debbie is not capable of these things.
But within this interview context,
we did speak a lot about the emotional context of being a leader. And
seeing how much she cares
for her employees. I am curious to see the opposite end of that spectrum on how she would discipline, what would happen if
goals were not being met,
and
team members that she
cared was not an effective way to get the job done.
But overall, it appears to me that Debbie is an effective leader who is able to garner respect from her employees
and who is able to push forth goals and tasks presented by the organization.